Hey guys, Steve here. Welcome to another episode, and this one is a little bit different. Today I'm bringing in some help. Today we are talking to Crypto Papi because for many, Top Shot has opened their eyes to the world of NFTs and the blockchain and the potential of everything moving forward. And perhaps you're starting to think about other NFT projects, but you don't know where to start or what to look out for, and it's all a little bit overwhelming. So today I brought in someone who knows more than me about all this space, and I picked his brains about all the latest things going on, including the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Zed Run, Blob Mob, All-Star Freaks, MVP Freaks. There's heaps out there, and there's also ones that you want to look out for that you don't want to invest in. And it was a hell of a day to talk about that because one epically failed and bailed. So let's get straight into it and learn some stuff with Crypto Papi. Let's get straight into it. Crypto Papi, how are you doing?
Hey man, I am doing so well. First of all, thank you so much for having me on your channel. I've been watching your content. I'm a fan. So super pumped that you reached out and that we get to have an awesome conversation with what's been like, it's been a crazy couple months, but even today has been a crazy day. There's never a dull day, but today's been a crazy day.
I know, right? And yeah, tomorrow it'll probably change again. I like your shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my girls got me that.
Nice.
I feel like I can turn that into an NFT.
Hey, I think anything can be at this point.
That's right.
So, Top Shot, how long have you been involved?
Oh, good question, Matt. So I heard about Top Shot in February, on February 27th, I believe. I looked back at my account to look back. When did I actually join? So it was February 27th. I started a little bit slowly. I was kind of sniffing out the market. And I've been buying ever since, to be honest. I haven't stopped buying.
You're not worried about the dip then?
It's not that yeah, I can't say it's not that I'm not worried about the dip. I mean, nobody likes to be down as much as I am. But having come from the crypto space and having had a very similar experience in 2017 when I bought in on the way down, and that took 3 years to recover. And I had a lot of conviction about crypto. Everything I had learned about the technology told me that this was the place I wanted to be. This is the place I wanted to be invested in. And the truth is I didn't really hold on to that conviction, especially as we started to get lower and lower and lower. And having been through a really long bear market, Top Shot bear market of 3 months is really not long at all.
It feels like it though, doesn't it? But
absolutely.
In a segue to that point, you've always been interested in cryptocurrency. Give us a brief sort of overview on your journey, I guess, from there or where you started to Top Shot, because I said to you offline that Top Shot's kind of, I think for a lot of people, including me, almost the gateway to a broader world of NFTs, and this is where they've gotten started. And I think a lot of my audience is the same. So what has your journey been?
Yeah, so started investing, trading in crypto, and again, kind of like went through the bear market. I have an IT background, so really passionate about technology in general. So I spent a lot of time learning about blockchain and learning about the potential future products. I was obviously involved in some ICOs at the time, but mostly, mostly is just trying to learn where the space was going to go and anticipate what were kind of the next big things in crypto. Now, in January, as the bull market just had taken off, I had friends and family just telling me, stop talking to me about crypto and get on YouTube and start talking to people on YouTube about it. And I've been thinking about it for 3 years because I'm really, really passionate about this space. And finally, I said in January, all right, you know what? I'm going to go start doing some crypto videos. I had been doing a lot of trading and teaching myself how to trade. So I started just doing some videos about where I thought the market was going and all that good stuff.
And say what your YouTube channel is, because we need to mention that off the bat. Like, what's your YouTube channel? How can we find it?
Yeah. So you can find me on YouTube. I'm Crypto Papi. Look for the ape. I'm completely aped into the NFTs. We'll talk about that. So look for the ape because there's some older Crypto Papi accounts that don't really have any action in them anymore. So yeah, so I started kind of talking to YouTube, and it was through that journey that I started to meet more people. And then it was really there where I heard about Top Shot. So I joined Twitter at CryptoPapi10, as you see on the screen. And when I joined Twitter is when I actually started to hear about NBA Top Shot. So I wasn't even on Twitter 2 months, well, maybe 3 months ago now.
Yeah, me too.
You as well?
Serious, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like crypto was my gate. I always knew about crypto Twitter, by the way, but the last place you want to be in a bear market is crypto Twitter. Like literally. So I had my own personal account, not Crypto Poppy, where I was on Twitter. I didn't participate. I read, I basically stopped using Twitter for like a year and a half. Literally, the last place you want to listen to anybody on anything is Twitter when you're in the middle of a bear market.
It's good. That's a good point, actually. That's probably the best advice I've ever heard.
So yeah, so I heard about NBA Top Shot, and here I am, by the way, thinking about NFTs, the potential of NFTs, the potential of blockchain projects, and I'm visualizing things like real estate, NFTs fixing real estate, and NFT. We won't need lawyers anymore because NFTs are coming into the space. And here's a product that was literally sitting on the market that I had not heard of. That for me is obviously associated with a household name and the
Yeah.
NBA. And as soon as I heard about it, I was in. Like I didn't even hesitate. I was all in on that.
So has your so MGLE and collector score, the pack just got announced and stuff. How are you situated with that and the collector score, and what are your quick thoughts on the collector score at the minute?
You know, I really love like the news that came out today around the collector score. I had been sort of hoping that, and I think there's still tweaks that are necessary, but I
Yeah.
was hoping that Dapper would try to reward those of us that are actively not just invested in the platform, but also actively using the platform. And I know some people aren't going to want to hear that, right? Like there's people that want to
Yeah.
put $15 into the platform, buy a pack, and hold it. And to be honest, they just want to get rich off of $15.
Yeah.
And I know that that is totally all that some people can afford. But I would challenge those people to just look at it from the other side as someone who's actually gone in and made a big investment and somebody who's actively talking about and participating in the platform. You know, why should I also go up against you for a pack when I've put kind of my whole weight behind this? And that's the part that, that's the part that Dapper has to figure out. There's always going to be friction between those two.
Yeah, I thought it was a huge step in the right direction. I know there's always people, when it comes to this, there's people on either side of the fence. Some are on the wrong and some are on the right side. And I'm actually still on the wrong side. I've got to add just a little bit to get to that 2,500 collector score, but I'm like this close. So the marketplace boost was huge for me. So holding all these scars all of a sudden seem relevant. But I guess that's why they have tiers as well, and that's the point. You know, you act in your tier, but also maybe the fact that packs were easily positive EV for the longest time has this perception that probably Top Shot's trying to change. But yeah, I think it was just a huge step in the right direction at the least.
I agree, and super pumped at the price. Like I think they're doing the right thing. So
Oh well, yeah,
$25 pack for a rare pack, I think is kind of it's kind of an appreciation token, right? Like saying,
yeah,
because if you look at the collector score and how it is today, it's definitely incentivizing those people who are probably down right now. Because in fact, some of the whales who got, sorry to say it, rich off of you know $84, they might not qualify actually because they haven't spent money in the marketplace, and if they sold their moments, they're not going to qualify. So it is
yeah.
incentivizing people that are spending money in the marketplace actively and that are also holding the moments. And it's a really nice token to know that, hey, look, this is going to be a plus CV pack. Like unless
Yeah.
something really bad happens to the market, which I'm not anticipating. This is definitely going to be a nice reward for whoever gets the pack.
So one more thing on Top Shot before we move to other NFTs and what people maybe should know, look into, and whatever else outside of Top Shot. What would you like to see happen? I don't know, in Top Shot, features, abilities, utilities. What would you like to see happen, and where do you see it going? Say in a few years, like you said, you've been in the crypto space for a while. So what's your outlook?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, actually, one of the things that you do notice about Top Shot, as bullish as I am, and I hope nobody ever questions that, um, is actually some of the NFTs out there that are alternative to Top Shot. The utility that they create really keeps not just investors, but people active on the platform. And
Okay.
so, like everybody else, I'm sure what we would love to see is to make it more fun to be actively engaged on the platform. Like once you've watched all the highlights, you've watched all the highlights. Now, don't get me wrong. Another thing I'm super excited about is I've got a nifted display on the way to my house,
Oh,
and a
cool.
Mimo mint as well. So that's going to be cool. That's going to add utility. It's going to allow me to watch my moments in my man cave, and I can't wait for that. Right. So
That's
it's
brilliant.
it's all that utility that you really see in some of the other NFTs that keep people engaged and they keep people coming back for fun. And then therefore they spend more money on the platform because they're having fun. And especially in a bear market, like, not that, I haven't quite seen a bear market, to be honest, in some of the other NFTs I'm invested in, but I can imagine something like Zed Run in a bear market. It's still going to be a lot of fun to race my horse, regardless of the price of my horse. And I'll probably be way more willing to keep my horse just because I can just race him and have fun and play a game with it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So why I literally aped into NBA Top Shot is because as I come from the investment and trading side, right? Other people
Yeah.
in NBA Top Shot come from the NBA draft or DraftKings, or they're collectors in the traditional collecting space, whatever it is. But I come from the investment side, and I don't know, man. I thought, as someone who literally was investing in white papers with anonymous teams, with the promise of a product that didn't even exist, that all we could do is like hope that something was going to be created. As soon as I saw NBA Top Shot, you're talking about a partnership with the NBA,
Mm.
obviously some top-notch investors and NBA players themselves. Dapper, that brings a ton of credibility to the space, having successfully really almost launched NFTs period through CryptoKitties. So
Yeah.
that's why it was such a no-brainer. We'll talk about kind of like my strategy for investing in other NFTs, but this hit every checkbox that I had never seen in the crypto space and still invested in.
Yeah, nice. So I've pulled up a couple, and I've lent heavily towards the just basketball to start with, and we'll expand from there. Um, so let's start with Dapper Labs themselves, because we know that they've got Top Shot on the Flow blockchain. They got UFC in the pipeline. You spoke about CryptoKitties, but they've also got Dr. Zeus in the pipeline as well.
Ooh,
And
I didn't
did
know
you not
about
know
this
about this
one.
one?
No, gonna have to go
So
register for that one.
as a father, I could see myself getting into this for a laugh, and I could see myself getting into it for like my kids would like it as well. And speaking of that, I was looking at blobs the other day, and my kid looked at my computer and was like, "Oh, these are funny. What are they? Can I have one?" Sort of thing. And you got a few of them with basketballs and things like that as well. So I thought they were interesting. Did you have any thoughts on? Well, actually, I'll go through the other ones as well. There's MVP punks as well, which basically just look like pixelated NBA players. There's the All Star freaks that I've come across on Twitter as well. Before we get into the ones that you want to talk about, which I want to talk about as well, have you come across these? Do you have thoughts on these?
Yeah, so I actually own a few All Star Freaks. It was actually one of the first NFTs I bought outside of NBA Top Shot. It was one of the first ones I heard
Yeah,
about
right.
on crypto Twitter, and I love the artwork behind it. I think Bobby Digital, Bobby Freaks, All Star Freaks, he calls himself now. Really cool guy, and this one primarily I'm invested in for the really cool artwork.
Yep.
That's really, there's different, there's a billion NFTs now, and this one legitimately, I love the artwork. So this is a pure personal thing. This is a collectible for me. I would love to display this on a screen someday, on a physical screen. And I don't really expect anything more from this one, to be honest.
I think these are kind of humorous as well. Some of them, like I've seen a few of them on Twitter. Some of them are quite funny as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the AI, the Allen Iverson, and
Oh, nice.
I didn't even notice until a couple days later that if you go into the properties of the NFT, he has
So,
practice is
is
one
that
of the
this one?
no,
I thought this one
the
was gold.
the other AI.
That's okay.
Yeah, and then if you click on the properties, they're actually quite clever. And my AI has it says practice 0 out of 5, which is hilarious. Obviously, if you know Allen Iverson and the whole practice video,
uh,
I'm
do
sure
you
you can find it if you just go AI. Sorry, if you go to it's up for sale right now. I kind of tend to put stuff up for sale that I'll be super happy if it sells, but I don't really want it to sell. This legitimately, that Allen Iverson is one of the NFTs that I have up on the market that I actually don't want it to sell. But it's
Yeah, right.
you know what I have learned with NFTs is when you get an offer that you can't refuse, take the offer. And the best way to do that is put it up for a price that you're saying, okay, fine. If somebody made me this offer, I would sell it, but that you'd be totally happy with keeping it as well.
Yeah, yeah, nice. So, what are your favorite NFTs?
Yeah, so number two for me has to be Zed Run. I am extremely bullish on it. In fact, it's one of the ones that I waited the longest to get into because I know myself and I had a feeling that something that looked like that much fun would absorb a lot of my time. And not only that, it is such a deep, sort of data driven approach to being good at Zed Run that you have to study a lot and you have to really understand the patterns of
Yeah, right.
horses and what makes a good horse from a bad horse. So I didn't really want to FOMO in until I knew that I would be willing to give it the time. And I still haven't given it all that time. And I'm actually finding that's quite cool because I'm having a lot of fun with it. I got so the way I got in is I was waiting for the drop, which I think if anybody wants to get into Zed Run, there's going to be a drop soon. It was delayed. It was going to be this week, delayed till next week. The
Yeah.
easiest, most cost effective way to get in by far is basically to wait for the drop and buy a horse. And I can tell you my experience from the last drop is most of my horses 10x'd literally from, and
Wow.
I got 5 on the drop and they 10x'd. And I'm not saying that the next drop is going to be the same. We don't know what could happen with the market. It is a market that's very hot. It is a market that continues to rise. So they're surely going to raise the price of the horses because they tether the price against the USD dollar. But it's a very cost effective. And if things are going the same way a week from now, when we anticipate the drop to be, or whenever it happens, then if you've got $150, $140, which was the cheapest horse in the last drop, it's a really fun way to experience a NFT that is full of utility and that you're not necessarily, going to lose your money the next day. And that's not financial advice, of course.
So, we talk about packs a lot in terms of Top Shot. You say that there's a drop. What does it look like? How does it work?
Yeah, and I want to, this is one of the things that puzzles me about the NBA Top Shot Twitter space is by far NBA Top Shot has nailed the pack drop experience. There is not another NFT that I've been invested in, that I've participated in the drop, that has flawless execution. Some people are going to call me crazy, but guys, when you compare it to everything else out there in the market, NBA Top Shot is flawless in the way that they do their
That's
drops.
interesting.
Yeah. So the Zed one was a free for all. Click on a link, and whoever can filter the fastest and get a horse the fastest buys the horse.
Ooh.
Complete madness. Very similar to the sandbox drop that just happened for land, which I was literally like 5 seconds late to and didn't get land on the drop. So many of the other ones are just a complete scramble, complete chaos. And if you get lucky, you get lucky. At least with NBA Top Shot, if actively engaged and you're an active collector in the space, you're going to have an opportunity to get a pack, especially now where they got like weekly packs dropping, right?
Well, they did. I think they called that off. There's still a lot of moments, I think, that need to come out into circulation in the 40,000 cc's, which I don't know where they're going to come from, because there's not that many playoff packs and things coming in the next few months too. So it'd be interesting if like something happens in the off season. But anyway, there's a lot there. And obviously a lot that's going to happen in the playoffs that'll get minted, which I'm big on, playoff moments, which are going to have historical context. So that's Zed Run. Is there any sort of projects or NFTs that we should have mentioned before we get into the negative side of NFTs?
Yeah, I think my next NFT, for very different purpose than utility, are the Bored Apes. And so
yes, I was going to bring them up.
Yeah, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, very interesting, because I was just starting to get my feet wet with MetaMask based NFTs, and just I'm kind of applying a lot of the same concepts that I did with ICOs and investing in those back in the day. But these NFTs, like, you find out about them, and next, like 2 hours later, they're sold out. If the hype gets real, that's exactly what happens. And my experience with Bored Apes was, everybody else tells you the same story. We all had the same experience. I went in, I minted an ape, and I went to bed. And I refreshed the screen a couple times, and I saw that it was moving really fast. And I remember lying in bed going, man, I probably should have minted a few more, but I'll do it in the morning. Wake up in the morning, gone. Everything gone. Absolute massive hype. And it's now turned out to be, for me, probably the most successful NFT that I've been a part of early, pre-sale, right? And, that NFT for me, the power of that NFT is, all you have to look at is Doge, or, what AMC is doing this week. And when you've got the strength in community, the chances of something failing are highly unlikely. And so I love the Bored Apes because it's this community that everybody's a part of. I've seen crazy stories now with, Bored Apes helping others who are struggling in their life financially, and they're literally sending them money and charity causes, and now a partnership with the Sandbox, and now we're all getting rewarded apes, the Sandbox version NFT of our ape, so that we can go play in the Sandbox. So now they're adding a ton of utility around it, and you can see someday where the apes, the CryptoPunks, the identity type NFTs really become a place where you're not just socializing in the virtual world, but you're also participating and socializing with these people in the real world, right?
Yeah. It reminds me of that movie Ready Player One that Steven Spielberg made not long ago. It doesn't seem that ridiculous, if you look 50, 100 years down the line. But
1,000%. We will mark my words. We will see a marriage of two Bored Apes that met through the Bored Ape community. I'm convinced of it.
That's not even outlandish. But I've seen like really cool versions of the apes as well. Like I used to be a bit of a 3D designer, and I've seen 3D versions of the apes, and that's probably why I like the blobs as well.
Yeah.
To me, they look simple, but they look good, and I like them. But for me, the apes was just like everyone on my Twitter feed all of a sudden had an ape profile picture, and like Aussie time, I don't know, whatever else. I wasn't into it, didn't hear about it. And then everyone had an ape and everyone was just like, hey, what's with all these apes in our feeds?
Yeah, and if you look, if anybody's thinking, well, then I'm late to this, well, just think of it this way: like the CryptoPunks have been around for years, and the space wasn't large enough um, until recently, where the CryptoPunks have gone up in insane value, and they had gone so much in value that there needed to be something else that people could invest in that was still relatively cheap, and the apes compared to the punks are still relatively cheap. But I'm not telling you guys to go buy apes now. What I'm saying is, as this community grows, then the apes will be maybe the next step from the CryptoPunks, and then there'll be another identity based, avatar based NFT that will serve the purpose of the other people that are joining. So there's always going to be more opportunities if you feel like you missed the boat.
Yeah, I feel like I think a lot of people feel like they miss the boat often, and I think everyone wishes they joined Top Shot in November or August last year because Series One moments were $1 and stuff. But what people don't realize was that was like there was no light at the end of the tunnel back then, from what I've been told, and that it was all out of faith. All those purchases, all those packs. You might have been able to buy 10 packs, but there was just no visibility. There was no EV positive or anything like that. It was just you were investing in this because you believed in it. But back to the point of like, I still think NFTs are so, and I'm inexperienced in the space, NFTs are so young that even though I feel late sometimes, I still feel like overall, in aggregate, I'm early because it's not like my mum's talking about NFTs or anything like that. My wife doesn't understand it. So, how do you explain NFTs to people that are not in the space?
Oh man, we are so early. It's not even funny. First of all, there's a new NFT every day that people are FOMOing into. And
Yeah.
now I will say this, I often hear the all NFTs are, 99% of NFTs are going to go to zero. And I do think that's a little bit dramatic. I used to hear that about crypto 5 years ago, that all of crypto or 99% of crypto is going to go to zero. And the reality is that that's not the case, that there were some that went to zero, and they were the minority. So the majority are actually up now from where they were 4 or 5 years ago. All of the top market cap coins are actually up in value. If you look at all of the crypto stuff, I'm not saying that means that every NFT is going to be up in value 5 years from now. But where you did get into trouble, as where I think we'll get into trouble with NFTs, is if you're putting your investments into very high risk NFTs with maybe unknown teams, and you FOMO in without doing your research, and simply because somebody else is doing it, so you do it. So if you stick to, like NBA Top Shot, big franchise, obviously the NBA, huge market that they're targeting. Dapper's already a well-formed company hiring right now. I think the most bullish thing about NBA Top Shot is they've like stolen everybody from the NBA, the NFL, and that's
MLB.
bullish. When you see the quality of people that a company is hiring, guys, this never happened in the crypto space before. There was just some weird wackos running projects that you had to trust, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's a good point.
we're
And
still so early, and to answer your question, how I explain NFTs, the first thing that we all get is, I got it at work because I changed my profile to the ape at work. And people ask me, and I honestly say, yeah, now the one that I have, I spent $7,000 on. In Canada, that's $10,000. People think that's crazy. They're like, you spent that much on literally a picture? And my response is always this: forget the picture. I'm spending that much on a token that gives me access to an incredible community where relationships are being formed, future jobs are happening for people. And we're still so early in the game. We don't actually even know the power of the token that we hold today and what that's going to represent in the future.
yeah, that's really good. And I always think I work in marketing. I get challenged often, why are you doing social media ads or something like that? There'll be someone. And I remember Gary V saying, radio was slandered when it came out because newspapers were the thing. Then TV had to fight for its place because radio was the thing. Then the internet had to fight for its place because TV was the thing. Same thing with social media. And this is just another evolution, I think, of something people don't understand. So a lot of people will slam it until eventually the perception changes and the acceptance grows. And especially when we start from Top Shot's point of view, when the utility starts getting better and it's happening in games and things like that. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, NFTs, I believe, might even be somehow involved in my first ticket to an NBA game. I don't know how. That's just my pure speculation, maybe dream. But yeah, now something happened today, and let's call it the dark side of NFTs. So, summarize that for us.
Yeah, like I was saying offline, this is a great day to talk about NFTs because you never learn anything from a bull market. Okay. So, that is where you learn how to make mistakes, to be honest with you. The scars that you get from a bear market and the things that happen in the darker side of any space that you're investing in when you go, very risky type investments is where you're going to learn your lessons. And today we learned a huge lesson, and that's with the Apimon eggs. And I got to say, first of all, if I influenced anybody into the eggs, then hey, look, I apologize. And I hope you weren't too heavily invested. And so what we saw with the Apimon eggs is the worst story that you can possibly hear. Is us investors who were really bullish on the platform, collectively put in $1.6 million. Now, thanks to Dingaling, it was mostly all him. And then there's the rest of us. I think he bought like 800 eggs. And we invested that money with the promise of a roadmap. And this is what used to happen with ICOs as well. Now, beautiful artwork. If you've seen the Apimon eggs and the monsters, like it really is beautiful artwork. But it's become clear now that the founders of the project really were only in it to get this far. And as soon as they got their $1.6 million, they literally abandoned the community. They stole the $1.6 million funds. We actually know where they are, what ETH address is storing them. We could all track them for fun. But they also, what the worst part about this is that they actually took, from what we're hearing, all of the intellectual property. And their promise from the beginning was that this was going to be a project for the community and that they were going to hand it over to the community. And they didn't. They took all of it and they disappeared. And here we are left holding the bag.
Wow. So what lessons do you take away from this?
So, this is my first rug pull, as they call it in the NFT space. The first, there were definitely some signs about this project. And the biggest sign that I should have really paid attention to was the lack of communication that was coming from the founders from day one. And so mainly if you participated in their Discord, it was their developer who was left to basically fend for the community and talk to the community. And I remember going into the Discord going, Archie, who's, the founder that took off. I'm sure his name's not Archie. And he, say like, dude, you should be communicating with us, not the poor developer. Let him develop. You tell us what the roadmap is. You tell us where this is going. And, that's the first sign. If a founder is not heavily engaged and you haven't seen him or her or they successfully deliver a project in the past, that's probably one sign that this is a high risk investment and anything can happen. And then there were things that happened along the way that, I look back now and go, how did I stay bullish on this? And one of the reasons why is because I wasn't heavily invested in it to the point where it was one of those things. Well, if it works out, awesome. If it doesn't, I've learned a lesson. I would have rather not lost my money, of course, anytime. But anyway, there were things that happened, like CryptoPunks were stolen. I'm not kidding. Like the legendary, they're actually ultra eggs that were released ended up in the hands of the founders. Like everything you could imagine that could go wrong with a project happened on this project. And where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
And I kept kind of thinking, well, maybe this is it, right? Maybe this is the last pain that we're going to feel, and the project's going to take off from here. And now here we are, complete rug pull, and they've disappeared.
Kind of makes Top Shot look like a saint when you go through all that. I always thought it was weird that Roam was so involved, coming from other industries. But it's sort of like just maybe it's just their difference, but obviously that's engagement.
To your point, like I gotta say this because you just reminded me of something. So I wanted to open the eggs. My family, by the way, loved the eggs. This was one of the projects that they loved. Okay. And I wanted to open the eggs because there was a chance to win a CryptoPunk and some people art, like some incredible prizes in the eggs. And I wanted to open one with my family. So I reached out to Archie. I said, let's do a live stream together. And I want to open this with my family and let's see what we get. And I never heard from him. And you know what? I can tell you right now, people can say what they want about Roham. I message him, he responds. And I'm nobody in the NBA Top Shot space. He is engaged. He's out there. He was, I know he did a talk recently on a YouTube. So he's out there. He's engaged with the community, and he's showing his face. And
I don't know how he gets the time, to be honest.
I have no idea. I don't even know how he answers my DMs, to be honest with you.
He answers your DMs.
Yeah, he does.
Wow.
And not always. Some topics he does, some he doesn't. That's okay. I love that. I know that he's busy, and when it's important, he has. And you know what? His face is on the screen. That is a sign that I should have listened to with Archie, is that he never made his face available. And that should tell you something, because that could be, not everybody, but that could be a sign of somebody that is up to no good.
Yeah. Well, let's turn it around. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Tell us something that your viewers don't even know about you.
Oh man, that's a tough question because I'm like Mr. Transparent. So
all right, then let's change it up to, what's the worst moment you own in Top Shot?
The worst moment? That one I can tell you right off the bat. Luka Doncic, Cool Cats, paid $7,400 for that moment.
Okay.
I just bought that moment back yesterday for $300 and something, I want to say.
Yeah, I bet you did.
And I paid $7,400 when I joined the platform. I finished the Cool Cats Anthony Davis, and I didn't dump any of my moments. And it was my first experience of getting rug pulled in a challenge on NBA Top Shot. And I was like, what just happened? Why is everybody selling? And what I was thinking at the time was, but there's another Cool Cats coming. Like, we all need all these Cool Cats for the next challenge. Why are you all selling? Now, I had no idea. I literally bought almost the top of a bull market. It wasn't just that the moments were overpriced because they were in a challenge. They were overpriced because they were also literally at the top of a bull market. So there you go. I paid that price. I finally let him go at $2,100, and now bought him back at $300. And I completed the Cool Cast Challenge last night.
Nice. At least you had the audacity to like take the L, to not take the bigger L, if you know what I mean. Like, you sold him at 2,100, but you could still be holding him at 350 right now.
Yes.
So I've had to do that as well. And sometimes you just have to have that conviction, if you're not in love with that thing and it's going to go, have it go now rather than in the tomorrow that could be worse or something like that. I mean, different circumstances all the time, but it's good that you had the conviction to do that as well.
And it's important to say that, because some people say, oh, I really want this other moment, but I don't want to sell low. Well, you know what? If you're trading some low moments to buy low, is it, take the L, or if you really think it's going to go lower, then take the L. When Luka was down from 7,600 to 5K, I wasn't thinking he was going to 2,100 at all. Like, I was thinking, oh, this is just a little correction and we're going to head back up again.
Yeah, I went through it with the LeBron 3, but do you know what? Today I feel so much better because of this marketplace and the collector score. Holding all those scars for me like not selling a lot of my marketplace spend has suddenly rewarded me, and likely I'll get a rare pack, assuming like whoever's eligible gets one or whatever, for 14 dapper. I mean, so today I'm actually a lot. I know some people aren't, but I'm actually upbeat now about some of those L's.
Yeah, I actually, I have said this twice before, so keep that in mind. But I do see the sentiment starting to change a bit. I saw the sentiment today on Twitter starting to get a little bit more bullish, a little bit less about the hate. And yeah, there's a
Mm.
few people that are going to be left out of this one that aren't going to be happy and aren't willing to invest because they do have time. They can still get in before Monday if they
Mm.
wanted to for the pack, but they're not going to, and they're just going to complain about it. But, for me, that's what I look for in a bear market is, at what point does the sentiment start to reverse? And that's usually
Okay.
sort of the first sign that, we may start to see some changes in the market.
Okay, that's really interesting, actually. Um, so this is your YouTube channel. You obviously put out a lot of content. So please check out Crypto Pappy's YouTube channel. There's a lot of knowledge there, lots of cool guests as well, I might add. So definitely worth your time. Thank you for taking the time to come on to this channel and talk. If people want to get involved in NFTs, where do you recommend then start outside of Top Shot?
There's two places where NFT lives. First on Twitter, second on Discord. And if you're not willing to be involved in both of those, please take my advice and don't get involved in NFTs. Because, and maybe I'll leave your users with this, like the way that I assess the potential success of an NFT, I say that as the guy that got rug pulled today, is number one is obviously the team. And typically, look for their website and you understand who the team is. But you're not really going to understand who the team is until you go check them out on Twitter. And then you'll really know, like, how many followers do they have? What other projects are they involved in? What is the sentiment of people that are sort of talking to them? And that's the first thing that you look for. And then the
It's a good
next,
pulse, isn't it? It's a good finger on the pulse, those two
yeah,
things.
yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, if you went to NBA Top Shot right now and you followed Roham, you might see a lot of haters, and it's not really about that. You have to recognize the difference between a market that is down, period, has been down for 3 months, and people are upset and they're down money, versus a brand new NFT that's launching that hasn't even had a market yet. If you're seeing negativity with a brand new NFT that has no market, I'd be concerned. And I would at least, it's a red flag, and I'd start to look deeper into that. But you're not really going to know whether you want to invest in NFT or not, and you shouldn't just by the website and just by the Twitter. You got to go into their Discord. And that's where you want to know, what does the loyal community look like? Because the people in their Discord, which is all where all NFT communities live, are really their loyal, their active community. And when you go there, if you see five dudettes, that might not be the right time to invest in NFT. The best NFTs, like the Bored Apes and some of the other ones that have really taken off, you could see just the traction that they were getting in the Discord and the hype that they were
Yeah.
getting. And most importantly, you're going to get to know the names of the people that are actually joining those Discords and are vouching for that project for two reasons. There are those names that you're going to look at and say, you know what? The last time that person was involved in a project, very successful project. But you're also going to see some names that you're going to say, this person's in here. I might actually stay away from this project. It literally goes both ways. I'm not kidding. And so you really have
That
to
makes sense.
study everyone in the community, not just are people investing in or are they hyped in it, but who is investing in it and who's vouching for that project.
Yeah, fair. Mate, I don't want to take too much of your time. Thank you so much for spending yours with me. Please check out Crypto Pappy 10 on Twitter and his YouTube channel Crypto Pappy. Mate, thanks for your time.
Bro, I thank you so much, man, for having me. Like I said, I'm a big fan. So I watch your content, and I will absolutely continue to watch your content. I can't wait to go on this journey, together with this whole community that's building. It's so early now. I can only imagine 5 years from now where you're going to be as a content creator. I can honestly say my bet's on you, man. Like the way you do your stuff and the community you're building, my bet's on you. 100,000 subscribers. What? Couple years? We'll
Turn
get
it
there,
off.
bro. It'll happen. You'll see. As this community grows, so will as the products and the NFTs grow, so will your community.
The biggest point to be made is I don't even know why I started, and I'm just having fun.
Awesome. Well, we're
All right,
having
man.
fun watching you, man.
Enjoy your day. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for being with us, and I will speak to you soon.
Absolutely. Take care.